Thank you very much. When it's Tuesday, it's the Raw Leadership Talk. And today, irrespective of the challenges that be, Raw Leadership Talk coming to you live, featuring Kamau Irungu in the Mentorship series as we complete the month of March, 30th of March, 2021. I wish you could know the kind of lighting I'm getting here, the lighting support. But I'm so glad that you could join us from wherever you're joining us. Can let us know where you're joining us from. Today we are bringing to you the Raw Leadership Talk from, at this time. The usual time is usually 8 p.m., but today, because of the changes that be in our country currently, the Raw Leadership Talk comes to you from 8:30. Where are you watching us from? We'll be glad to hear from you even as we listen to water music from Handel Messiah before we go into our discussion. Where are you watching us from? It's going to be a short discussion today, and we are glad that you're watching us. We're glad that you have joined us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So Kamau, maybe you may want to introduce yourself. You may want to introduce yourself, Kamau, to our audience today. Kamau, can you hear me?
Yes, I have always wanted to say good evening, viewers. So good evening, viewers. It is good to be here with you online. As you heard, my name is Kamau Irungu. I am a public speaker, but I am also a business mentor or a trainer or a coach, respectively. I think, and I am a Kenyan who loves this country and who feels very deeply for this country. Yes.
Great. Kamau, you may want to project your voice when you're talking. Okay. We are hearing you faintly. But I'm glad to be here with you today, Kamau. I know you and me come from very far. Thank you, Namataka Jani, watching from Gong, Kajiado. Thank you very much for joining us. Our viewers, where are you joining us from? To be glad for you to just let us know where you're joining us from. Kamau, you and me come from very far. We have our own history, but it's important for people to get a glimpse of who Kamau is. Can you give us a glimpse of who Kamau is today?
Kamau is firstly a believer, and but I am not just I believe that faith should be something that affects my day to day. It shouldn't be something that we do in theory. And number two, I am a patriot. I'm a Kenyan. I love this country. I feel very deeply for this country. Number three, I am a public speaker for the African Center for Public Speaking, and also in various other capacities. Number four, I am a business mentor and business trainer. And when I am doing business mentoring and training, I operate not from a point of a lot of success, but from a point of having tried a number of things differently and on several occasions and having failed, and so having understood what is a learning curve. And so I want to be the person who helps people shorten their learning curves. Yes, and finally, I am a husband.
Yeah, I remember the first time Kamau talking about business, the first time we met, you actually sold me a mopper. I remember
yes.
a mopper.
Yes.
So I don't know, that was business number 3 or business number 17, but I remember you convinced me to buy a mopper.
I think that was in 2010 or 2011.
Yes. Should be around that
I think
time.
it was 2010, 2011. That was. Yeah. I think that was business number 3 or 4.
Okay.
And so we were calling them magic mops. And so
okay.
we were actually the first ones to bring those mops into the industry, into Kenya. And so we was after that, other people brought them. And yes, I sold you a mop as I was also getting into the class. Like you said, we come from far. I was in the African Center for Public Speaking, I think in the year 2011. As a student.
Great. So what values have determined your career growth and what makes you stand out, Kamau?
I find that I have a challenge. While it is possible and it is true because of the world we live in to have dichotomy, and so I say I have a church life, I have a home life, I have a work life. I am increasingly having myself wanting to be the same person everywhere. And that is a journey I am on. So that is a value I have embraced. And number 2, being honest and being someone who's I haven't always done it, but I strive to be. That should be a value, that when I say we will do ABCD, then we do ABCD. And if we can't do it, then I should give you a heads up. So being one throughout, being someone who keeps their word throughout, and generally out my faith without talking about it. I mean, it should. There's a value of. I actually think enterprise is a value, and providing solutions, and then making money as you do it, because there are things you enjoy. I also find that to be a value. Yes.
Thank you very much. And what are your thoughts about? I'm sure sometimes I've seen you doing some political comments on Facebook, and then signing off with you are taking your Managu juice and Confefe. I don't know what Confefe is, but what are your thoughts about political, religious, and corporate leadership in this country? What would you say are your thoughts?
I find that, again, like I said, because of dichotomy and having 6 lives, 6 separate lives, there's a lot of dishonesty in all of those categories, in religious leadership, in political leadership, and in corporate leadership. I mean, the mere fact that politicians will insult each other, then be in partnership in a company that is tenderpreneuring, is the irony of, or is an oxymoron. I mean, that is just a proper example of how duplicitous, how two-faced. And so there isn't, I mean, you can't find consistency. So my position is that I find it to be very inconsistent. I hope it will be inconsistent. I strive personally in my own personal spaces. Of course, not always, but I strive to be consistent. I put in the effort. I fail, but I put in the effort. I don't find that in the various levels of leadership. And where it is a minority. It is never celebrated. It is never in the limelight. And so those of us who are trying to do it right actually end up feeling like you're alone. So I think my challenge would also be for those who are striving to be right and to do right and to lead right and to have one life in all of those spaces, to also begin being public and vocal and being okay with being different, so that probably we will notice each other and give each other, some strength or something.
Oh, that's good. Those are very wonderful thoughts, especially in such a time as this, when people are going through a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties that have been brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know whether the challenges have been brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic or they've been brought about by our perspective in the way we handle COVID-19 pandemic. Well, what are your thoughts as far as that is concerned, Kamau?
I think it is actually both. It is more of it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg? I mean, it is both. So there are certain challenges that have come because of the pandemic, and then the other challenges that have come because of our perspectives, either because of our perspectives or they were pre-existing. And so the pandemic basically just stretches the seams and reveals the growth or the rot that exists. And so, yes, and of course, the others that have literally been caused by the pandemic. Certain issues like job losses, there are certain job losses, especially in the service industry, that are lost because of the pandemic. But then again, there are issues like domestic violence of whatever form, whether it is physical or otherwise, that has been revealed by the pandemic. So someone, a wife or a husband is emotionally abusive, either way, they have been like that. They haven't started today, but then now the pandemic has caused a job loss or has forced more time together and fewer working hours. And so there is so it is a both, it's a yes to both kind of arrangement in my view.
Yeah. Good views right there. Do you think Kenyans are really keen on personal development, Kamau? You and me have been in this industry for quite some time now. Do you think Kenyans are really keen on personal development?
Dan, from 2011, yes, it's been a while. I actually think things are beginning to turn up now.
Okay.
But it has, now we're able to have more people in any given, in a year coming to the school to look to develop their public speaking. I remember between 2012 and up to 2019, 2018, 17, 18, you were never sure if you're going to have a class, man. So it is turning up, and it would probably be two things. Number one, there is increasingly a generational shift. There is a newer under 35 years kind of group coming into the space where they're able to afford to pay for personal development. So sometimes it's not because they didn't want to. For them, because they were younger, it was an economic issue. So they couldn't afford it. So they know they need it, but it's an economic issue, so they can't. They're now beginning to come into blossom. They're beginning to get jobs. They're beginning to find purpose and to know what they want. And so they begin to prioritize and to budget for personal development. Then there's a second group of older people who we have noticed, over 40 or over 45, coming for personal development because the situation on the ground is such that they have to adjust. Because they are now dealing with the millennials and the zennials, so the generation Z, in the workplace. And so you're competing for certain opportunities. You are not yet, you have 10 more years to retire or 15. And so you have to up your game. So that is the first reason. Then the second reason is because we're increasingly moving into an information kind of society, an information kind of generation, or an information kind of economy, where skill is not necessarily academic. And so personal development skill, non-academic skill, so you look even at technical skill. And so as we grow in personal development, it's almost at the same way we are growing in TVET, the technical and vocational skills and tooling. So there is that trajectory, and it could also probably be underlined to now what we are calling the gig economy and all of those things. So it's about, he's a good speaker, we will pay him for an hour and a half, and that is a job. It doesn't have to be an 8 to 5. He has the certificate to show for it, and it doesn't have to be academic. So we are transitioning from your certificate yako itachukuliwa na shule, ita recognize you wapi. I remember that used to be the question you used to get, your certificate yenu inakuanga recognized. So things like those are changing.
Okay. That's good, and I think there is a breakthrough in the way Kenya, especially of younger age, are now beginning to understand that they need to develop their leadership skills. And some of them actually, the amazing thing is that they are already maybe at the university doing a particular course, and they still want to up their game by taking a communication skills, public speaking course, and at the same time they want to take a leadership course, they want to do a mentality change course, because they believe they have to boost themselves to a certain level, whether they're going to look for employment or they're going to employ themselves. And I think it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and it's still a journey going somewhere. Yeah, but what changes do you think we need to make as Africans to move to the next level? Are there changes you think as Africans we need to make to move to the next level?
Yes, we need to take responsibility. We need to own your failures, own your success, own your dreams. It is true. It is true. It is actually true that Africa is, in quotes, failed by design. It has been designed that way through bad debt, through bad colonial hang-ons and carryovers. But I think I need to begin to see that there is a design to make sure I never grow. And so I intentionally make it my job and my responsibility. I take responsibility to grow, to be different, to break the mold. And if 10 of us start doing that, eventually we get to critical mass. And I am happy that it is beginning to happen slowly in the grassroots. They say that the revolution will not be televised. And I think when you begin to have small conversations here with people from the various generation groupings, questions are beginning to be asked. Demands are beginning to be made. When you go to various forums on social media or otherwise, the kinds of conversation being done and being held and debates by Africans are different. I think it starts there, and then now let's begin to practice it personally first.
Yeah, but do you think our political leadership or the leadership class is up to the task?
No. The leaders want status quo. The leaders do not know how to deal with change. And a very good example is the BBI. BBI is not for Kenyans. BBI is a document to return us to the pre-2010 constitution setup where power was at the center. And I like quoting David Ndei because David Ndei has done a proper breakdown. Power has moved from the center. It's in the grassroots. The center literally feels. Do you know, in Rongai today, you don't need Uhuru to approve for the bus stop to be made. I mean, you don't need the PC like we used to of Rift Valley in Nakuru to make a decision for Rongai in the same province on whether or not the budget that was given by the national government should come and repair the bus stop. That is something that you go threaten your ward MCA with failure to come back. I mean, the guy, you threaten him enough that he won't be re-elected. He will do his job. He will lobby, and some sort of budget, even if it is gravel, will be released, and you will have gravel on that bus stop. That leaves the center very idle. I mean, empowerless. That's why you'll see Uhuru going all over the place, launching projects and things that should be done by the county. His job is supposed to be international matters, foreign affairs, where he has failed because of the kinds of debts we get into. So, yes, to answer your question, the leaders are not ready for change, and they will do everything and anything to retain status quo. And that is what BBI is. BBI is an attempt to going back to a centralized state.
Okay. Thank you for your thoughts, Kamau. What is your advice to the younger generation in such a time as this, especially now that we have this pandemic, the challenges that be?
I would say own your space. Own your space, whatever space you're in, and whatever it is that you do in that space. Own it. Be good at it. And allow yourself to do a number of things. Allow yourself to learn. Allow yourself to practice. Allow yourself to go through process. And the process sometimes involves trying about 5 other things before you settle. What we need to understand is that there is never a vacuum of experience. So that when I sold a mop to Dan 10 years ago, I didn't settle on that business, but there was a learning that happened on me.
Yes.
And so that learning cumulatively builds on the experiences I have when I am pitching, when I am selling, and when I'm just dealing with people. So it was not a wasted effort in as much as it was an unsuccessful business. And so we need to begin separating those two. You can have failed in an act or in something, but appreciate that in the process, you have gained skill or experience or something. There was something that was added. Go home with that and be okay with the process and be okay with the 5 other things you will try, because ultimately there is never a wasted experience. And so you will be good at something or some things. So be okay with yourself. Forgive yourself. Allow yourself room, man. And then own it. Own your space. I think that would be my parting shot.
Thank you, Kamau. And as it is our ritual here at the Raw Leadership Talk during this mentorship series, what we've been doing is towards the end, we give you 3 minutes to just take it away and just share with our viewers what you feel they need to take home. So take it away, Kamau. Take it away.
I think I would want to tell our viewers that this country is ours, and this is our time. This is our season. I mean, great books, including the Bible, record people who did the best and good and major things for their nation in their season, in their time. And yes, it is by design that you get frustrated. It is by design that efforts to change get crushed. But it is also by design that when you keep at it, a rock makes a path. I mean, water makes a path in a rock because of keeping at it. So I think let's keep at it. It is our country. Let's not give up our country to people who don't know or who don't want change, who don't want us to be owners of our country. Own your country, live for God, live for something beyond yourself, and be the guy who wants to be a stepping stone or change agent somewhere in something. And enjoy the process. It is easier said than done, but really, it is. I mean, you can never skip a process. The tree takes 5 years before it fruits. So take the 5 years. So you can either have 5 miserable years before you fruit, or actually enjoy 5 years and then fruit. It's up to you. So I would say my conclusion would be that small is relative. The word small is a relative statement. Small depends on your definition of what is small. Then now determine what is small for you and then work from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been the Raw Leadership Talk. What wonderful tips right there from Kamau Irungu, a business coach, a business mentor, a public speaking coach and speaker, bringing to us the mentorship series, part 5, as we close the month of March. It's been a wonderful time together with you. And I want to believe that you have learned a lot from the Raw Leadership Talk. Here, we keep it real, we keep it raw, and we bring people, but some of them you'll never see in the national television, in the big television station in Kenya. Those are the people we bring them here, people who are bringing significant change in their own small way in the community. Until next Tuesday, may God bless you, and let's continue being change agents wherever we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you.